1971, when these two teams came into this ball game undefeated, both with records of 9-0. But they were not as highly ranked as these two teams are. The series record reflected there, going back to 1892 at Piedmont Park in Atlanta, Georgia. The biggest upset in this series had to be in 1942, when Auburn defeated Georgia 27-13 down in Columbus. That was the Georgia team that went on to the Rose Bowl. Frankie Sinkwich, Charlie Trippi, and that bunch. And they beat UCLA 9-0. Georgia has won the toss. Auburn will receive as Georgia elects to take the football to start the second half of play. Now let's check in with our colleague Tim Brandt regarding the health of Terry Hogue.
Keith, I talked to the trainer. I talked to Vince Dooley. He is wearing high-top shoes, has that ankle taped. He warmed up and says it feels very good. He may not start, but he will play. He said the warm-ups were outstanding. He can't wait to get in this ball game.
Jeff Cantrell had a big ball game last week against Florida for Georgia and seemingly would have earned the starting spot. And I would expect that we'll see him out there. But at the same time, when you have a player the caliber of a Terry Hogue, he will play if he can walk in a ball game like this. The offensive picture for the two teams, you can see that they're both productive on the ground, especially so in the case of the Auburn Tigers. Sanford Stadium is stuffed. They may very well have an all-time attendance record by the time they get everybody off the bridge and into the ballpark. Kevin Butler, who may turn out to be an important personality in this ball game before it is done today, just as the Auburn kicker, El De Greco, may turn out to be an important personality. Two very fine kickers. The principal return man for Auburn is Brent Fullwood. They like him to have the football, but very seldom do you get a chance to run the ball back against Kevin Butler. Kick return, Fullwood is averaging 16 yards per return. Butler's kick is high, long, deep. There will be no return of this one. So one more time, Butler makes the opposition start at the 20, and it'll be Randy Campbell pulling the trigger. Bo Jackson will line up at right halfback at 226 pounds. Lionel James at left halfback at 170 pounds. And a freshman who was a dynamite performer last week with 219 yards, Tommy Agee. Chris Woods, wide receiver, 6 feet 185. The ball is put on the 20 now, and here's the first snap of the ball game for the Tigers. Auburn in white. They play on grass, real grass, here in Athens. Ball goes to Bo Jackson for the line of scrimmage, and that'll do it. The offensive front for the Auburn Tigers, Ed West, the tight end, 6'1", 235. At tackle, Steve Wallace, 6'6", 265. David Jordan, 6'6", 260. At center, Jan Cowart, 6'2", 230. Jeff Lott, 6'3", 270. And Pat Arrington, 6'6", 260. They are pro size up front. We'll get the Georgia defense for you in a moment. Second down and 10, Auburn from the 20. Out of the wishbone, Campbell bellies it down, goes outside to Lionel James, and James gets around the corner and gets a first down for Auburn. And that is a basic play out of the wishbone. Knox Culpepper made the tackle for the Georgia Bulldogs.
The key block on the right of your screens, Bo Jackson, the leading ball carrier, also blocks. You can see that the pitch is to outside man as the Georgia end gets blocked. Watch it on the sideline right over here. Number 34 puts him on the ground. And James goes for the first down, something Georgia did not want to happen. The Auburn backs getting outside.
From the 34, first down for Auburn. Campbell looking it over and seemingly going to a check off, gives it back to Jackson, and Jackson moves it close to the 39. Georgia's defense lines up this way. The big people up front are Calvin Ruff, Donald Chumbley, Mike Weaver, Kenneth Sims, and Freddie Gilbert. Linebackers are Knox Culpepper and Tommy Thurston. In the secondary, Darrell Jones, Tony Flack, Gary Cantrell, and Charlie Dean. But Terry Hogue will be very obvious before the day is gone. Second down and 6. Campbell gives it to Agee. And Agee, a freshman out of Maplesville, Alabama, is across the 40 up to about the 41.
Credit.
Penn State comes on in the final minute of that ball game up at State College to beat Notre Dame by a score of 34-30. And TCU leading Texas 14-12 in the third quarter. It was 14-3 at halftime. Second-ranked Texas having all it wants with a Horned Frog. Third down, call it 4 from the 41. And Campbell back quickly. Sets up to throw to James. Lionel James has it. And he's got a first down for Auburn up around their own 48. Knox Culpepper again making the tackle. Knox is the son of the man who played fullback a few years ago here at the University of Georgia. Young Knox is a junior out of Atlanta.
Young Knox Culpepper is the leading tackler, 111 plays so far this year. Been all over the football field, making key tackles for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Auburn Tigers now starting at their 20 have moved out 2 successive first downs. They have it now first down at their 48. And again, Campbell takes the long count, rides it down, goes outside. Lionel James hurdles over one man, cuts it back inside, and makes something out of nothing. It looked like the Dogs were going to get him outside, but the little man cut it back inside, and finally it was Kenneth Sims that brought him down.
These numbers reflect the ability of the Auburn running backs. Jackson leads the Southeastern Conference, 7-yard average. James 6'3", 85'7". Georgia's defense will try to force Campbell to keep the ball on the quarterback option, not let the backs get it.
They have not been able to penetrate enough, however, at this point, Frank, to effect that.
I think that's a good point. They want to get in that backfield if they can.
Jackson is missed in the backfield and goes for a first down after the miss as he reaches the Georgia 40. Knox Culpepper, number 48, coming after him and missed him.
Culpepper is going to shoot the gap, knowing that the sweep is coming, but he misses the Jackson in the backfield. As you'll see, Jackson is big and strong, weighs 228 pounds, runs the 60-yard dash in 6.1 seconds. In fact, is faster than Herschel Walker as he beat him in a sprint last spring.
And the Tigers are sitting on the Georgia 40 first down. Testing the Bulldog defense right out of the starting blocks. First quarter of play, fumble. Campbell dives, covers the ball. Randy Campbell is the fellow that you don't hear much about until you get into Auburn itself and talk to the coaches, and then they will tell you how prominent he is in how the whole thing works for the Tigers out of the wishbone.
The wishbone offense is a decision-making offense on the option play. Precision thinking by the quarterback. Very key man, the key man.
After the fumble, it is second down, about 10, just outside the 40. Campbell bellies to the fullback, gives it to the fullback, and A.G. is rolled up at the line of scrimmage. And stepping in is Mike Weaver, the big middle guard, 280-pound junior out of Haines City, Florida. Give him a yard on the carry.
Last week, Tommy H., the fullback, had touchdown runs of 61 yards and 44 yards right up the middle. Bill Lewis, defensive coordinator for Georgia, told me we are not going to let him dominate this game. We're going to close in and stop him if we possibly can.
It is third down and 6 now, and Auburn breaks the bone. They come up with one remaining back. They got the 2 halfbacks lined up in the wingback or flanker spots. It is a passing down on 3rd and 9, but that doesn't always read fast. They swing it out on a screen to Bo Jackson, and Jackson fights his way down to about the 35, and there the Bulldogs get him and bring him down. So it'll be 4th down and 5 for Auburn.
The strength of this Georgia defense is 11th in the nation right now, is on wide plays. They play up and down the line, seldom penetrate on long yardage, difficult to run the screen against them.
It'll be a 52-yard field goal try for Al Del Greco. 52 yards. The hold is good. The kick is up. It's no good. It hit it right at the corner. Just missed it from 52 yards. And so with 9:03, Georgia holds and gets the ball. Watch it, how close it was. Coming down now, beginning to drop, and nicks the corner and stays out. At their own 35, nothing conservative about Pat Dye's decision to try for a 52-yard field goal. In so doing, he gives Georgia the ball with the miss at the 35. Good field position. So let's see what the Bulldogs can do in their first defensive possession. Auburn moved it well till they got to the 35. John Lastinger takes the snap, keeps it, gets it quickly in the air, and overthrows the intended receiver, the fullback, Barry Young. Here's a look at him. John Lastinger, 6'2", 190 senior from Valdosta. Keith Montgomery opens at tailback, 190-pound sophomore. Barry Young, the fullback. He started the season at tailback. He's a 210-pounder. Herman Archie's a big target at flanker, 6'5", 195. And Kevin Harris, the wide receiver, 6 feet, 195. And David McCluskey is now in at the I-back position for Georgia. He's a freshman, big fella, but they give it off to Young, the fullback. And Barry runs it up to about the 39 to pick up 4. Up front, the Bulldogs operate with Clarence Kay, 6'3", 235 at tight end. Winford Hood at tackle, 260 pounds. James Brown at guard, 250 pounds. The center is Keith Johnson. He's a 270-pounder. 255 pounds for the right guard, Warren Gray. He's a puller and a good one. Guy McIntyre, 6'3", 260 at the other tackle. Georgia running at about 50% on the season in third down conversions. Now it's Tron Jackson in a tailback and going in motion. And they swing it out to Jackson, and he goes right through his hands. You better cover it. It was almost a lateral. That was almost a lateral. It was a matter of a foot either way. They call it an incomplete forward pass, and that brings in the punter for Georgia, Chip Andrews. Here's the pass.
You can see that Lastinger is throwing the ball parallel to the line of scrimmage. The ball does go forward just enough to make it an incomplete pass instead of a fumble. Georgia's offense changed their strategy with respect to the Auburn defense through a pass 2 out of the 3 plays.
Chip Andrews averaging right at 40 yards per punt. Trey Gaines, who's a 170-pound freshman for Auburn, is the deep man, and he's way back there showing respect for the foot of Chip Andrews. Andrews doesn't really get all of it, and Gaines will take a shot at it. Gets a good block to the boundary, and he is rolled out of bounds at the 30. It was a 39-yard punt, an 8-yard return with 8:09 to play in the first quarter, and no score between the Dogs and the Tigers. Herschel, better than some people thought. But what about Vince Dooley? Here are his thoughts.
Well, it's been a lot of fun so far, and it has been very rewarding because I really felt like we'd have a pretty good football team. I think our team felt that way. Herschel Walker came with a great class, and that class, they're seniors now, and I think they have tried to prove that they have not been a one-man football team. They never were in the first place, but I think this year has been special to them, and I'm proud of what they've been able to accomplish so far.
Auburn comes up now. Those comments from Coach Dooley yesterday at the 30, first down for the Tigers, their second possession of the ball game. And Campbell on first down will put it in the air, and he goes deep with it. The pass is incomplete. The intended receiver was Ed West, the tight end, a senior out of Layton, Alabama, and he was sort of pinched in between 2 people, one of them being Terry Hogue, who makes his first appearance of the ball game.
Terry Hogue will play a vital role in defense against the wishbone. He'll line up mostly at linebacker, and he would be a pursuit man to the plays away from him and a blitzing man on plays to his side. Number 14, consensus All-American last year.
Out of Huntsville, Texas, and almost a 4-point student in sciences and genetics. Second down and 10 for Auburn. Unusual to see Auburn throwing first down passes, but they've got to do something against Georgia. They know that. They give the ball to Agee, and for the first time today, Agee finds some running room and picks up 8 yards. Right now, let us check in with Jim Lampley in New York.
Couple of pertinent details on these bowl implication games, Keith. The Penn State-Notre Dame game, a wild-scoring affair won by Penn State on a Strang touchdown run with 19 seconds left. UCLA lost to Arizona, missing a game-tying field goal try from 37, won the last play of the game. Now back to Keith Jackson.
Thank you, Jimmy. A couple of big scores there. It is third down and 2 for Auburn, and the ball goes to Bo Jackson. And Jackson on pure muscle dives into the middle and grinds away and roots his way very close to a first down.
Bo Jackson against Florida 2 weeks ago had touchdown runs of 80 yards and 54 yards. It's fourth down and short yardage.
They won't go. They're not going to gamble on fourth and a foot. Bo got down into that pile, and Georgia was able to hold him. And so on 4th and a foot, they'll punt with Lewis Colbert coming in, averaging 42 yards per kick. Jimmy Harrell will go deep for Georgia. Lewis Colbert, quite a story himself. High hanger. Jimmy Harrell has no choice but to call fair catch. Back just inside the Georgia 20. It was a 42-yard punt with no return, and we have no score. The big people, linebackers Greg Carr, he came into this ball game with 116 tackles. The other backer is Jeff Jackson, David King, Jimmy Warren, Vic Beasley, and Tommy Powell, the secondary. They're second down and 6, short 6. And Lestinger, the quarterback, keeps the ball, fumbles the football, and Auburn covers it. Auburn has the ball at the Georgia 23 as Lestinger was hit, and the ball popped loose from Quincy Williams. Big Quincy, a senior from Douglasville, Georgia, comes up with a recovery.
Watch 99, Doug Smith, Doug Smith's right arm. He's going to whip the blocker first. It's an option play. The quarterback's got it in both hands, so watch him strip the ball with his big right hand. Doug was all Southeastern Conference last year as a defensive tackle. A big play for him right there.
Now Quincy Williams comes across and pounces on it, and Auburn's in business after the Georgia turnover at the Bulldog 23. They line up in the wishbone. Ed West is flexed to the left. They've got a wide man to the top. And the ball is pitched outside the line. Oh, James, and James gets away from one, and Culpepper runs him down and out of bounds at the 19.
Here we watch the Auburn coaches talking to their defensive people about the Georgia offense. Since the Texas game, Auburn has averaged 411 total yards, 33 points on offense. Wishbone teams have a tendency to get better and better as the season goes along.
Second down, long 5 near the 19. Hidden off to the fullback, kept by the quarterback, number 90, Freddie Gilbert, defensive end, senior from Griffin. Grabs Randy Campbell and throws him down.
Freddie Gilbert, number 90, is the big playmaker for the Georgia defense, and he has been for the last 2 years. He has 20 plays where he's tackled opponents for a loss or sacked the paper. And he has 10 sacks and also 10 plays tackling for the loss. Just a great player, as the tackle chart shows.
Third down and a short 6 for a long 5. Chris Wood just flanked out of the picture. Campbell goes along the line, keeps it, and turns upfield and gets the first down for Auburn as he got inside the 15 and then cut it back before Darrell Jones brought him down. Campbell weighs 165 pounds.
There we look at Pat Dye, who's turned 3 college programs around, East Carolina, Wyoming, and now Auburn. Randy Campbell, number 14, is the catalyst, to quote Pat Dye's own comments of this offensive unit. He has to make those decisions in both the running and passing.
It is first down at the Georgia 12. Ball goes to Bo Jackson, bounces to the outside, and he's caught behind the line of scrimmage, breaks tackles, gets inside the 5, down at the 3. That's why Pat Dye says Bo Jackson's one of the best athletes in the country playing football. 2 Georgia people had him, and they just simply couldn't hold him.
Bo Jackson is just a sophomore, but he is so big and so strong. He really doesn't know how good he can be. But watch this illustration of what a big man can do when he's got his shoulders turned downfield and wants to go for that goal line. Just a sensational run by Bo Jackson, the sophomore halfback from Auburn.
The ball is on the 3. It is second down, 1.5 yards for a first down. 3 yards from the goal line. Campbell outside. James got a block. Touchdown. Bo Jackson opened the door for him.
Watch the blocking Starting on the right. The triple option. Georgia elects to stop the fullback, stop the quarterback. The great block of the defensive halfback Jones, number 17, lets James walk into the end zone.
It'll go into the books as a 4-yard run. It was just outside the 3. They call it 4, and it's 6-0 Auburn. Here's the extra point try by Del Greco. The holder is Mike Mann, a quarterback, and everything works to perfection. He's 34 out of 34 in extra points for the season, and at 4:34, Auburn goes on top.
Number 87, Ron Middleton, the tight end. Watch him seal off the inside. When a ball carrier, when the fake goes in to the fullback, you have a chance to seal off the linebacker, Culpepper, allowing James to go in for the touchdown. Great execution, and we'll be right back after this.
Position football. You make a mistake, they make you pay for it. That's the history of both teams, and Auburn just put one on Georgia to lead 7-0 with 4:34 to go in the first quarter of play after the Georgia quarterback's fumble. Darrell Jones is one of the deep men. Kick is well back in the end zone and out of bounds in the end zone. It'll come out to the 20 where Georgia will have it first down. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football just down the road from Athens. It'll be played in Atlanta. The Los Angeles Rams and the Atlanta Falcons getting after one another in NFC Western Conference battle. Be a good one.
The Los Angeles Rams have probably the rookie of the year, and Eric Dickerson, the running back, really having a sensational first season with the Rams.
Gorgeous day. Just a few wispy clouds. Beautiful day for a game of football, and Lastinger puts it up. Goes down the sidelines. The pass is incomplete. It was on the hands of Herman Archie, but Jimmy Warren was there with just enough bother to cause him to lose it.
Archer is going to run a pattern that gave Auburn trouble last year in this ball game. Going out in the flat, the quarterback fakes the ball to him, then he turns deep. But since the halfbacks last year were burned on this for an 80-yard touchdown pass, Jimmy Warren is there. He doesn't play it very effectively. Archie had his hands on the ball, but couldn't hold it.
Second down and 10. Handed off inside to the fullback, Barry Young. And the senior from Swainsboro gets about 2, maybe 3 on the plunge up the middle. And so it brings up 3rd and long for Georgia and probably another passing down. That's capacity here at Sanford Stadium. It has been sold out all along through the season. And it's going to put Georgia up among the attendance leaders in the country, obviously, with the addition here. They used to set them up on the railroad tracks up there where they could preload, but they've filled it in now and made it one of the bigger stadiums of the country. 11,000 Auburn people are here. Lastinger on an option, tries to cut it back up the middle, and he is nailed by 41, Pat Thomas, a sophomore linebacker. Just locked his legs, and Chip Andrews will come in to punt. So the Auburn defensive people are containing the Georgia offense quite well.
They're doing an effective job. Georgia has changed their game pattern. They've thrown on first down on both series, both possessions, and it's been incomplete, forcing them into a punting situation.
Trey Gaines goes back. Chip Andrews to punt. He averaged, his average coming in is just right at 40. His first punt was a 39-yarder, and Gaines had an 8-yard return. High hanger. And a fair catch is called by Gaines. And downfield, Auburn will have it first down at the 34. Yesterday, in talking with the coaches, I visited with Pat Dye about the makeup of this team.
This football team is hungry. It's made up of a group of seniors that had a lot of faith in me and our staff when the transition was made several years ago. Had a lot of faith in Auburn to come there under the circumstances that they came there. And a group of young players, sophomores and freshmen, that believed in a dream when we went out to recruit them 2 years ago. And that's what this football team is made up of. And it's been a very exciting season and a very rewarding season. And we're excited just to have an opportunity that we have today.
The opportunity they have today, as you saw Jackson pick up about 3 yards, is, A.J. rather, is this. If they beat Georgia today, they'll snap a string of 23 consecutive wins in the conference for Georgia. They'll snap 24 straight wins between the hedges. They will guarantee a share of the SEC title, and quite possibly, if they can handle, in fact, if they can handle Alabama December 3rd, they'll go to the Sugar Bowl. Up the middle, Jackson. A little delayed draw to Bo Jackson, and he blows it out of there and picks up a first down at midfield where Tony Flack brought him down.
This is a play that Auburn has had it. The play starts to the right. Georgia linebackers move very quickly in that direction. The hand back to Jackson going, and you can see the natural hole that was made by the fake to the right, coming back to the left. Jackson nearly scored.
They don't give him midfield. They mark it close to the 49, just inside the 49 for the first down. Jackson now 35 yards on 6 carries. First down pass by Campbell down the middle. Incomplete. His tight end, Jeff Parks, was open to him, and he missed him. Looking at scores, Nebraska out 6-0 over Kansas in the first quarter of their ball game. Illinois headed for the Rose Bowl. That will lock it for them right there. That's their ticket. And SMU leading Tech 9-0 at halftime. And BYU, Colorado State. Gordon Hudson was hurt, their great tight end for BYU, and it hurt them some. Florida was a winner today over Kentucky. And Alabama and Southern Miss in a pretty good football game. Second down, 10 Auburn, just short of their 49. They lead 7-0. 2 minutes to go, first quarter. Campbell with the ball, going down the line, turns it back inside. Terry Hogue had come up from the rover back position, and he took away the option man. He was shoulder to shoulder, in fact, a huge shadow over little Lionel James, and there was no way that Campbell could get him the ball.
This is the strategy that Georgia wants to use. Stop the fullback, stop the pitch, and make Campbell, who only has slightly more than a 1-yard average running the ball, keep it on the option play. Very well played by the Georgia defense.
Upset there as Virginia bounces back after a loss to Georgia Tech to beat North Carolina. And the Tar Heels having their problems in the latter portion of the season. On 3rd and long, 3rd and 7, Campbell has good protection. Whips his pass, it is complete. Good to Jeff Parks. And Parks has a first down for Auburn at the Georgia 40.
Good poise by Randy Campbell, the quarterback. Most wishbone quarterbacks won't stay in the pocket that long. They take off and run with it. But Georgia had no rush, gave him plenty of time to finally spot the receiver and hit the key first down pass.
Go, Tigers, go! First and 10.
Georgia Tech rolling against Wake Forest. They have a chance to finish with a winning record in the ACC. Pittsburgh beat Army today. Panthers look like they're headed for a bowl game. Campbell on first down. 24th time this season they've thrown on first down. Bulldogs are chasing him. He gets his pass away, and it is incomplete. And he's lucky to get it back. And Darrell Jones is howling that Jeff Parks, the tight end, shoved him. Otherwise, he might have had an interception, but he gets no call.
Georgia defense knocked Jackson coming out of the backfield down. He was the first choice receiver. He never did get up and get in the pattern, and Campbell was just trying to scramble and get rid of it, avoid the loss. And it could have been offensive pass interference on Parks' part down at the end of the play.
Ball is at the 40 of Georgia, where it is second down and 10 for Auburn, and you've got 53 seconds to play in the first quarter. First win of the year for Yale. Norman Cose's Bulldogs beating Princeton. Hogue comes creeping up along the line of scrimmage. Let's see if he comes on a full blitz. He does, but he's behind the play. They hand it off inside to Lionel James, and it's the first time today that they have sent Little Train up the middle, and he gets something out of it.
The Georgia defense continuing to do their part. The lone touchdown for Auburn was set up by a fumble by the Georgia offense. The defense doing a good job of containing the Auburn offense.
Tim Jesse comes in, number 25, 200-pound sophomore from Alabama. Replacing Bo Jackson at the right halfback spot. Jesse has very good speed. He's a rangy sort of a fellow with a big stride. Here's again that offset now as they line the two halfbacks up in a flanker spot and give the ball to Tommy Agee. And Agee will not get the first down. Freddie Gilbert was the man that slowed him down, and then he got some help. And Calvin Ruff, number 86, really put a shoulder on him and knocked him away from the first down marker.
Fake pass and run by a wishbone team aren't usually effective for the simple reason they don't throw that much to get the Georgia defense to take the bite and rush the passer, opening up a natural hole. Georgia defense showed their speed, their ability to play the fake pass and run.
4th down and 4. Bo Jackson has come back into the lineup, and Auburn's going to go. The ball is at the Georgia 34. So they'll either leave it in around the 30 for Georgia, or else they'll get themselves a first down. Campbell coming down the line on the option, turns back in the middle, sticks his head down and dives for it. It just depends on the mark.
Keith, they did not give him a spot for the first down. It's short. Georgia takes over.
And the first quarter comes to a close. The Georgia defensive unit have their spirits picked up by their hold on it. And after 15 minutes of play, it's Auburn 7, Georgia nothing. Just short.